Yes, people, how's everyone doing? Hope everyone's doing well. Another day without football, but I've got a good video this time. This time, yeah, I've got a video I like. I like doing these ones. It's an update on the next generation at Leeds United, the youth academy, the under 21s predominantly. The next batch of youngsters coming through, trying to find a place in football, trying to become, a footballer, not a pro footballer. But yeah, I've watched as much as I can in the last few days. I've prepared a few names of players that to watch out for in the next few years. But yeah, let's get into it. The first one is Ruben Lopata-White. As you guys know, I've mentioned this guy before, just because I think he's really good. I don't know. Went to watch him last year in the FA final, the FA Youth Cup final against Man City, where Man City destroyed Leeds. But Leeds worked hard, they look good, and he's definitely a player who has those characteristics of a modern day centre back, which is I think is important. Very calm on the ball, good technically, quite big and strong and quick. Quite a mixture of all those three. You look at centre backs these days, the best ones kind of have a good mixture of balanced physical attributes, not like extremely fast but quite small, or extremely strong but really slow. Quite a balanced structure, and Ruben has that. He seems to have that in him as well, and he's very good and confident on the ball. That's something that's important to me. He's not shy, doesn't hide from it. So yeah, that's why I picked him. And just to clarify, the people I've gone with are 18 or over. I've not really mentioned anyone younger than that because at that age you're still very young. I don't know too much. I've not watched loads. Not a lot of the under 21s games were live this year. I've watched 2 in all, and all the other highlights, obviously. That's the criteria, basically. And this isn't saying that these guys are ready. In fact, I'll be honest, I don't think any of them are ready now for the first team. In this video, I've not put in Chambers, I've not put in Crew, simply because they're already part of the first team setup. De Bayo, for example, already part of the first team setup. But Ruben Lopata-White actually trained with the first team for a little while while we had some injuries. He's definitely liked in there. He's definitely slowly been integrated into that side. Yeah, he's obviously he's a centre back. He's a right-sided centre back. He's around 6 foot. He has grown a lot in the last few years. I saw a picture of him when I think he was 17 when he arrived to the under 18s. Compared to now, yeah, he's grown a lot, and that's a good physical side of a player that you need at centre back. Really, you kind of always waiting for that growth spurt, because obviously men's football, predominantly anyway, you've got to be really tall and physical. He's 19 years old and plays centre back. I've told you about him. Watch this space in the next few years, I guess. And it's also important to note, people, that these are not people that might even play a single game for Leeds United. That's not the point, really. It's to showcase and show people that maybe have not seen any of the 21s but might be interested in them. So I've done the watching, so some of you guys don't have to, right? That's the point. I enjoy it. I like watching youth tournaments. It's one of my favourite things, looking at raw talents coming through and predicting where you think they can make it or not. These guys, I think, can. I think they've all got good attributes in them. And Ruben Lopata-White is up there for me. I just realised he's got the same birthday as me as well, so anyone born on the 26th September is an absolute legend. So, yeah, what a guy. Good player. Good player. Luca Thomas, if you've not heard of Luca Thomas this season, I don't know where you've been, but again, that's the point of the video. Luca Thomas, he can play anywhere across the front three, either forward side or down the middle as a striker. That's predominantly this season for the under-21s, played as a striker. We'll talk about his goals in a minute, but he's someone who came through the City youth. Again, anyone that comes through that structure, anyone that gets took from Leeds, it goes through that structure. And that's the problem, by the way, in the Leeds area, is getting them top players tend to go to City and then maybe given back in a few years if they're not quite the level they require. But Luke Thomas was at Man City youth, the youth sides. It's not Leeds United's been there since 2021, I believe. He's been around for a bit, 3 or 4 years really, in the 18-21 side. And there's been glimpses of real quality in there. But what he's doing this year is at 20 years old now, is combining that into a competitive streak. He's been consistent with his form. He's kind of finding who he is as a player, and I think that's important for a young guy. He's 20 years old, like I said. He's not the youngest, in the 21s. He's reaching that 21 age where you kind of need to be questioning the next steps. Where am I going to be next year when I'm 21, 22? Will I be at Leeds United? Will I be on loan? But I think what he's doing this year is very good, and he's doing everything he can to set himself up for the future. Where will that be? We'll find out. This year, and you can't see because under my head, he's played 7 games as of recording. He's scored 9 goals. Yeah, he's lefty as well. He's a left-footed player. Look, those type of players they're liked. Left-footers, they're different. I'm telling you, I was one. It helps you talk about is your left foot. But he's a lefty. Played 7 games, scored 9 goals for them 21s this season. So, like I said, finding that consistent goal-scoring form is a striker for me. Like I said, can play on either wing and has played for Leeds in the past. For me personally, this is just me. I think he's a much better player down the middle. I think he's more focused on what he needs to do. I think his role's more simplified. I think he has the basic attributes to play striker better. And he's shown this season that he has that finishing touch as well. So for me, one to watch because he's doing the scoring. He's scoring a lot of goals. And like I said, I'm not saying these guys are ready, and I don't think he is. But if he keeps going like that, he's putting his name out there. And that's what he needs to do at 20 years old. That's the time now where you really need to establish yourself and really put your name out there. Because you're getting to the point now where, you're not in youth football for much longer when you get 21, obviously. So he's doing the right things and he looks good. If we get, maybe a bench appearance in a cup, something like that. But he just needs to keep doing what he's doing. He needs to keep scoring goals, and he's doing that. Very talented young player. There's another one. The next one is a goalkeeper. Rory Mahady came through Celtic youth ranks. Bought by Leeds, I believe, a few years ago, or maybe the start of last season. I'm not too sure. But he's 18 years old, Rory Mahady, and he's very big. He's very tall, I will give him that. Don't know how big, but just looking visually, watching the game the other day against Boston, I think they played. Very tall goalkeeper. And what really impressed me last year, watching that under-18s team that got to the FA Youth Cup final, was him. He's one of the best players. His distribution for someone of that age is a joke. It's a joke. The way in which he can, honestly, drills a pass. The technique on it is ridiculous. Those daisy cutters, he does them through entire midfields at times. Risky, yeah. Does it go wrong sometimes? Of course. But for a young man to have that confidence and have that type of technique, which is still rare in modern football for goalkeepers, not many can do it like that. At 18 years old, is extremely impressive. But again, the fundamentals for me are decent as well. Watching the game the other day, did concede a few goals, but not his fault. And his fundamentals are good. His shot stopping's decent. And he's got the height, he's got the physical side of it. Of course, all these players have development to go through. But here we're talking about watching a player and what I like from that player and what kind of stands out from the rest. There's a lot of good young goalkeepers at this level. And he's decent in everything you kind of look at. He's decent distribution. Nothing that stands out that makes you go, that needs to be a huge, fast improvement. Just the basic goalkeeper things that every young goalkeeper has to improve. Those are the things that, But for me, what edges him above the others is that distribution. It's good. There were times last year, the way we played, he literally so high forward, he was almost a centre-back. And he was so comfortable in the build-up. So comfortable. That will attract him to a lot of clubs around the world, trust me. Just that distribution side of it will. It's modern football. It's a huge. Just watch out for him. Honestly, good goalkeeper with good distribution. Those are the 3 I really spoke about, and there's just basic information that I mentioned. Like I said, 18 years old. Yeah, just keep an eye out for Rory Mahady. But like I said, these are all young. I'm not saying they're going to play 100 times for Leeds. They might not even play a single appearance for Leeds. But I think from watching them for the last 2 years, really, I like what I see. That's all it is. I'm not putting too much pressure on these young guys. I'm not going to do that. I don't like doing that. It's not fair. They're just people giving names to people out there that have maybe not watched the 21s this year, because the access this year to the 21s, for whatever reason, isn't great. I believe it's the rules of whatever, but it's stupid. You can hardly watch them. It's a joke. But these are the three names that stood out to me. There's some here that are interesting. These Keane Coleman, midfielder. Again, though, I need to watch more from him. Different types of games to really come up with a synopsis. He's 20 years old, but he looks very comfortable on the ball. Reece Chadwick. He signed with a Wasserman agency, I believe, last year. And, you know, they're one of the top agencies in the world, so clearly highly rated. Played last year a lot in defensive roles in the team. But this season, for the 21s as well, played higher. Played as a 10. A lot of it. And he looks really good there. And this is why he's 17, you see, he's very young, so I'm not going to say too much about what he should do, but what you're seeing with Reece is a young man who's finding his best position. You know, like I said, used to be a defensive midfielder, but actually has been playing higher up. And to me, looks very comfortable. Very comfortable in those situations. For the 21s as well, in the last 3 or 4 games, he's played for the 21s in that role. He looks very good there. He's a development I'm going to watch closely, because it's interesting how he's transitioning now positionally for me. Harvey Vincent, a winger, just stood out how quick he was. Quick and direct. Still very raw. I believe he's 17, 18 as well, but young player. Good winger though, very quick. So just one to watch out for. Coben Bird. Yeah, I had no idea who he was. Like, I remember the other guys from last year. This guy, I believe, he's just come into it. He's 17. He's very young. He played against Boston, and I was like, "Who's this lad?" You know, when you just text your eye, and you go, "Oh, who's this?" Looked very like he had a good physical profile for a young guy. You know, very quick and strong, but looked very kind of rushed at times. So I looked at he's new to the 21 team, and he's come straight from the youth ranks at 17 years old. So he's one to watch. But again, plays left back or left wing. Just observations, these guys. No pressure, no hype. Just players that just caught my eye a little bit. And maybe in a few years, or some of you guys can look at these names, and then when you're watching the 21s, you've got them on some paper, you can watch, oh, that's him, that's him, that's him. That's the point of it. That's it, really. But yeah, those are some guys from the 21s that have been impressing me. Leeds United currently sit, I believe, in 13th in Premier League 2. I believe they've won 2, drawn 3, and lost 1. So not bad against all the top academies in the country. So we're doing well. We're doing all right. Drawing a lot of games. We've not conceded many. I believe we have one of the best defences in the league, but we've also not scored many. So they're very tight games predominantly. But we're doing all right. We're doing all right. We're looking good. And for me, investment in the academy to stop all those real big assets going to the likes of City and all that, for example, at young ages, needs investment. It needs a pathway, a clear pathway. Like I said, that's not a clear pathway to Leeds United. That's a clear pathway for the player to play professional football. People think, like, why would I go to Leeds? There's no clear pathway. No. But where are they going? They don't have to play for Leeds. Is there a pedestal? Is there a place they can go that gives them a new club in the professional game? That's what players are looking for. That's the pathway. It's not necessarily to Leeds United. It's what can this club give you profile-wise. Look at Mateo Joseph. You know, Somerville played in the 21s for a few years. There's so many players. Max Dean now absolutely smashing it, doing really well for a young man. You know, Lewis Bay, I know he came from Chelsea, but played for us for a few years. He's now a captain in Stockport, I believe. There is a pathway, and we need to develop that. Otherwise, you are going to get these Manchester clubs, Liverpool, all that as well, are going to take our best players at a young age, and we need to establish ourselves as one of the biggest and best academies for a pathway for a young player in professional football in the north of England. And there's many ways to do that, but let's see if we invest in that and do that properly. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Anyone else you guys watch? Like I said, there's also players like Moore and Mullen who I like, look very good, but they're on that 20 to 21 range where they've been in the 21s for a few years. They've been out on loan. Well, Mullen has, for example. So these are just newer names that people might not be aware of. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. I appreciate all the support as usual. See you guys in a bit. Bye.